What's up, YouTuber lads? Right, this is a introduction to the new series that I'm starting, which is going to be called something like Let's Make a Song, or something like that. But what it's going to be is, it's going to be me, as the title will say, me making a song, and you guys following along, and hopefully giving some advice to me, and maybe helping me out. And in the long run, I'm hopefully going to be helping you out as well, because you'll see what I'm doing, and maybe something you've not seen before, and it's going to be helping you out to help me out. You're going to be leaving comments hopefully, and it's going to be pointing me in the right direction, because I'm going to start making a song with no ideas whatsoever. As you'll see when it starts, I'm just mashing some keys and hopefully making some art of it. The video is going to be sped up, and you won't be able to hear any of the audio. You'll just be able to hear me from memory, basically, of what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, let's dive on into this series and see what the outcome of this first episode is. Give me some positive feedback, and I will definitely keep this stuff going because it sounds like fun. Right, here we go into GarageBand. There's as you can see, fresh screen, absolutely nothing going on at the minute. I'm literally mashing some keys, hoping to find some sort of a tune. There we go, hit record, and obviously didn't like that one, but this is the process of starting a song. I'm not trying to make a main melody or anything here. This isn't how I start the songs. I try and make some sort of what I would have as maybe a bass line or the backing leads or something, basically. And there you can see I'm into a bit of an analog swirl there, moving the attack around, modulation, and just getting the stuff to sound right. I'm not going to give you, I mean, you can pause the video if you want and see what they're set at, but I'm not going to give you the specs for them, because you should be able to do this stuff yourself. You need to be able to make your own songs rather than copying other people. And there I'm just moving a couple of notes around, maybe making it sound a little bit better or for worse, depends. There we go, changing the tempo as well. That's another thing I've noticed with people on YouTube. They don't when I've seen them making songs, or someone sent me a song, they don't have the song set into, as you can see at the bottom in the blue LED bit, it says measures. That's where you need to be making the song in, otherwise it's all down to your timing, and there's loads of bits that'll be out of time. And this is perfect bit for trial and error, because I've put a voice transformer on to try something new out, and nothing's happened. I hated it. Gonna try a bit of wah, and I think I take that off again later. But this is all it is, just fiddling around with stuff. There's only a couple of my presets on this laptop. So I'm practically starting with nothing, and that's how I wanted it. I wanted to make stuff from scratch, and so you could see what I'm doing. There you go, moving another one out. This is now an analog pad, not swirl, just changing a couple of things. I've put compression on them. I've also taken wire off, added chorus to that one. They've both got a bit of reverb on them. I've duplicated that one, added another one, and that's for panning. As you can see in the top left there, the tracks are on left and right channels, so it's all very surround sound sort of stuff, and sounds really good in the final product. And that's all part of mastering your tracks, basically. You need to have stuff in the left ear, stuff in the right ear. Now this is kind of like ducking or side channeling even, and what it is, it's basically the long way of doing it, and it's practically lags everything out, but it's just moving volume in individual bits, and it's a long way of doing it. But I didn't want to do ducking because I didn't want it to cut off completely in some bits. So there's a way of doing ducking, but I might explain that in another tutorial maybe. And it just makes it like side chaining basically. But yeah, that's what I'm doing there for that one. As you can see, I've written side 1 and side 2 to save them two presets. And now I'm gonna, instead of having to redo that whole volume thing again, I can just duplicate track, change it to side 2, move it back in, and there you go. And that's what I'm doing there. And then I've got a side B and side A along with side 1, side 2, and that should be sounding somewhat alright now. Bit of volume change in there. I think I had some more stuff that goes up and down, but it's lower. As you can see, I dropped an octave there, and that's practically it. Now this is a lower one, but I didn't like the fact that it cut off completely. As you said, this is why I didn't want to do the ducking bit, so I've moved the volume up a little bit. Sounds a bit better. Move it some more, sounds even better. And there you go, that's all part of the game. Just keep moving shit around until something sounds remotely to what you'd have it to sound. and that's that one. And now, because obviously when it turns down completely, you won't be able to hear anything, which is where the bass kick's going to come in. But because there's no bass kick at the minute, I wanted a nice bass just in the background. And then there's me holding the Alt key or the Option key or whatever it's called, and highlighting and dragging it all along. And then you see me duplicate it all again. Like I said before, it saves time basically. And that's why you should save your instruments if you like them, because then you can just have them all the time. And there's that all going on. I can't really remember what else I needed to say. Yeah, make sure you leave comments and stuff like that as to the direction you want to go. I'm going to leave a preview of what I've made so far at the end of the video, so you'll get a sound of what this is and what's exactly happening at the minute. Yeah, please leave comments so I can keep doing this basically. I want your input as if this is worth it, because it does take a lot of my time up. And if this is worth it, if this is worth it, and if I should keep doing it. And also give me advice if you know something I don't, or you think I should be doing something that I'm not, then tell me, let me know. It's a part of community going on here. Need to keep shit going. So yeah, that goes on. I think by the end of this video I've cut it off as where I'm adding reverse cymbals. I'm not so sure yet, but we'll always get to that bit. And those reverse cymbals are kicking the fucking dick, I tell you that. But we'll get there. Now I'm just shrinking it down, making it all join together, as it saves a bit of your RAM on that one. But that's just a little top tip. Little top tip. If your project's running a bit slow and it's getting a bit laggy, basically just highlight a bit that you're not going to be changing. Command and then J, and that should connect them all together. Now this one, I've added a treble reduction on the master track to get that purple bar at the bottom. That's Command B, or it's in the top bar somewhere. And that should be a nice little fade in now as well, which you'll notice on nearly all my songs. I like to have it fade in rather than just kick off straight away. And there you go, that's that one playing. Just making sure it all sounds fresh and it's all good and all that shite, basically. Onto the reverse cymbal now. A lot of people have asked about my drums and cymbals and stuff like that, and what I do for them is basically I make the track in GarageBand as to how I want it. Just the bass drum, or just the snare, or the reverse cymbal in this instance, and I save that file as I like it, export it into my iTunes, move that into Virtual DJ and hit like the reverse effect or whatever, record it in Virtual DJ, move it back into GarageBand and add some more stuff to it. And sometimes I have to do that 2 or 3 times to keep editing it, and it does take a while. But once you've done it, it's done, and you can save it and have it there forever as a sound file on your iTunes or in your GarageBand on a piano if you drag it onto the key. And that's that one. This took forever to do, so I've cut a little bit out. I've got it on left and right channels now, so it's in the surround sound sort of thing, and sounds good on with headphones basically. And that's that one. And now I'm going to add sort of a build up to a drop basically. And it's you need to have a bit of glide going on. That's all you need really, and you hit a really low key and then octave up to a really high key. Make sure the key is in the key of the song, that is key, basically. And then as you can see here, I've got a really low bit when it goes to it. Right, there you go, that's my really low octave. And then it's scaled up and glides on to this really high note here. And now I'm just finding the bit where it peaks and then matches the song. And then I'm also going to have it fade, I think it's bass reduction I add to it. And then it's, as you can see, it fades in and then fades out. And that's a nice little effect that I added. It comes up too short as a fade out, I think, when I listen back fully. So I don't know what happened there. So I just changed it basically, dragged it out a bit more, and it sounds good. I'm adding my hi-hats. This is one of my preset hi-hats basically, but what I'm doing is I'm actually making a whole new one here as well. No, scrap that, that's not a preset. It was a preset, and I do add a preset, but this one is a pop kit hi-hat with a couple of edits on it, and as you can see, what I'm doing here is just changing it around a little bit with open hi-hats and semi-closed or closed hi-hats or whatever. And that's that one. And you can also change the velocity on these to make it sound a bit more realistic, because obviously a drummer isn't going to hit a hi-hat at the same strength or speed every single note, so you can change that to make it a bit more realistic, as I don't do here, but I will get around to it eventually. And another good thing here is if you split tracks like that, delete certain parts of it and have the other parts playing on this separate track, so you've got left and right channels playing different things, so it splits the track up and also makes it sound really good on the old ears. And this one is where I use my preset hi-hats and just have a bit of a rolling hi-hat noise where it's just constant hits basically, and then changes every now and then. But if you turn this down, bit of reverb, maybe a slight bit of echo, and it sounds really good mixed in with normal hi-hats as well. Obviously a real drummer won't be able to do this, but that's the beauty of having a DAW. And now I'm just making sure it all sounds right and fits. Giving it a listen, joining all these together to save the lag. And then I think that's my hi-hats done. I do a bit of volume changing when it plays with the whole thing, and that's that one done. Moving them into where I want them to be. There you go, just making them a bit higher. Also, the volume bar on the left hand side for every track is there for a reason. If your tracks are peaking, they will go red, and they will also come out as distorted or not to what they should sound. So basically, make sure you turn down your tracks, and if it's not loud enough and it's peaking, if it's not loud enough when it's not peaking, then basically just duplicate it and have it again, and it shouldn't peak but be louder, basically, if that makes sense. Now I'm doing something, not sure what I'm doing. I think I'm just listening to it to make sure it's alright. Well, I'm moving my volume around and making sure that's all good. What a tedious task that is, but it does work out quite well in the long run, I think, if it's done right anyway. But yeah, there'll be a tutorial somewhere on the internet. I think Dr. H Productions or something his name is, he does a tutorial for it, so there you go mate, a little bit of a shout out for you. I won't leave you a link because I want you to find his channel and get him some views on that, so there you go. He does stuff in GarageBand as well. I don't know how many tutorials he's done, but I've stumbled across one of them where he shows his ducking off anyway. And here you go, I'm just having a bit of a fade in for the hi-hats now so they don't just burst in out of nowhere. Dragging on the build up here like I said I was going to do, and then fade it out so it's a longer fade. Just a couple of changes so it's a nice long fade rather than just abrupt at some bits. Having a quick listen sounds good. And that's that. I'll play the track for you in 2 seconds. There we go then, that's the end of episode 1 of this series. I hope you liked it, and I hope it was helpful in any way. Please leave me some feedback so I can keep doing this thing really. I just want to know what you think track should be playing in the background. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks very much. Make sure you leave a like and a comment, maybe even subscribe. Thank you.